It's now the beginning of 2018, and this is a proposal for an Afrikaans and Jewish alliance in South Africa. My name is Paul Kaplan, and I'm the author of this proposal, so let's get straight down to business. Very soon after the African National Congress assumed control in South Africa, it became clear to many that a large part of the ANC was more interested in plundering the country than in developing it. And it was widely predicted that given enough rope, the ANC would eventually hang itself. So it's now clear that after 25 years of bungling, mismanagement, theft and outright murder, that the ANC has now got itself enough rope and the next phase can start. So during the past 25 years, the entire world witnessed the miserable shambles of both South Africa and Zimbabwe. And this shambles must surely have humiliated and demoralized tens of millions of African people. Now, Africans are every bit as intelligent as anyone else, and should and could just achieve just as brilliantly as anyone else. But their criminal and socialistic political ideas and parties have brought them to their knees. At the same time, we whites and others will have to recognize once and for all that we will never again rule over any of the African peoples. Whites can no longer be rulers on the African continent. And our future African colleagues will have to be convinced that we will never again make any attempt to regain power. Instead of trying to regain power, the wisest policy for us is to try to become accepted as the friends, mentors, innovators, and supporters of the many brilliant and dedicated African leaders who can succeed where the ANC failed. There's certainly no shortage of such brilliant people. And if we adopt such an attitude, and if the new political leaders actually listen to us and allow us to be their friends and mentors and innovators and supporters, then the miserable squabbling and murder that poisons our existence in Southern Africa will miraculously change into cooperation, advancement and massive investment from all over the world. And we ourselves, the whites and Asians, will live in greater safety and prosperity than we can possibly imagine at present. There are many ways of mobilizing millions of people to take up this approach, but we first have to establish a nucleus, and that nucleus has to start with the Afrikaners and the Jews, because no other groups possess the background, history, attitudes, and emotional connection necessary for this first step. Now, this case can be put very strongly to the black electorate, who are actually desperate for something better than the current shambles. And the enormous gravitational pull of an Afrikaans and Jewish alliance will become obvious from the moment it's established. It will very quickly expand beyond the two groups who are starting it, and it will include every community and grouping of goodwill throughout the nation. The expansion will begin with black intellectuals and rapidly spread to youngsters, the churches, the educators, the legal fraternity, and finally to politicians who will have to fall in line with the new thinking or be thrown out. And this will be a conservative movement, and no leftist ideas will be tolerated anywhere near it. So in the next talk we'll discuss how we can implement this new and better policy for South Africa. So until then, any Afrikaner or Jew who sees any potential for this approach is most cordially invited to respond as indicated on this email. So until the next time, this is Paul Kaplan signing out and thanking you for your time and attention.